If you ask a young modern city dweller today, where is your ancestral homeland? They will answer, I'm from the city. Ask them, where are your parents from? They say, I don't know. The city, I guess. My dad moved here when he was a kid. Ask them about their grandparents. Well, they owned livestock, so probably the countryside. Ask them if here is a sacred protective, a mountain, a Khairkhan, worshipped by their bloodline, and they will look at you blankly and ask, what is a Khairkhan? Is it a mountain, a stupa, or statue? This is the tragedy of the modern generation. Wander the world entirely disconnected from their roots, oblivious to their ancestry, but forgetting your lineage is not a just casual lapse of memory. In the spiritual realm, it is a dangerous blind spot that can lead you straight into a horrific trap of fate. One day, two elderly women, both in their late 70s and cousins to one another, entered our room. Their hands were trembling and they held two identical wedding invitations. It all began with two invitations. The cousins living in the capital city received an invitation from groom's side. The other cousin living in distant industrial town received one from bride's side. But when they compared them, they discovered a chilling anomaly. The date, the time, the venue, and the names of bride and groom were completely identical. Because the elders actually knew their family tree, they immediately realized a horrifying truth. The young couple were direct close blood relatives. They were about to commit incest without knowing it. The elders desperately called the parents of the couple, pleading with them to halt the wedding. But the modern parents dismissed them. You old folks just got confused by the invitations. The wedding is a few days. Stop talking nonsense. Refusing to back down, the two elderly women showed up there at the restaurant on the wedding day. They locked the elders from both sides into a private room and systematically traced their lineages back for generations. When the family trees were laid out, the truth was undeniable. They were close cousins. The glamorous wedding instantly dissolved into absolute shock. The bride collapsed into a severe depressive state, weeping uncontrollably. The groom, unable to broach the horror, drank himself into stupor. Fearing that their revelation would drive the traumatized lovers to take their own lives, the two old women rushed to our sanctuary. My brother beat his drum, summoning the ancestral spirit into his flesh. The Ongod looked upon the invisible threads of their bloodline, and they spoke in the heavy, poetic cadence of the cosmic laws. When the roots are forgotten and branches go blind, the blood of the children will twist and entwine it. The heart of the ancestor called out their name, to shield them from sorrow, to shield them from shame. The cosmos has severed the unnatural knot, to cleanse the deep bloodline of terrible blood. I translated the spirit verse for the terrified elders. Do not fear, no tragedy will happen. The spirit did not let them cross the line. The heavens saved them from a generational curse and forced the forgotten family to reunite. Go back in peace. Relieved, the two women returned to venue and comforted the young couple. Slowly, the romantic invitation in the youth's heart cleared away, replaced by the deep, sacred bond of brother and sister. The expensive wedding was not cancelled. Instead, the hundreds of guests who had gathered from across the country turned the event into the largest family lineage festival the region had ever seen. Relatives who hadn't seen each other in decades sang old songs, raised their glasses, and reestablished their forgotten family tree. It ended beautifully. To this listening this, ask your elders about your homeland, record your family lineage. The past you choose to ignore is either quietly plotting your downfall or standing as shield to save your soul. To live without knowing your roots is to walk blindly into a trap designed by your own ignorance.